Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. So I made it home. I'm about to go to bed for 3 or 4 hours, but I want to talk about just JoJo Diaz by himself. And you guys know, I mean, like I have a relationship with Golden Boy Fight. I don't have a relationship with JoJo Diaz, but I'm just saying I have a relationship with Golden Boy Fighters. Actually, one of their fighters actually rents from rents in one of my buildings, and y- you know, and here's the catch. And you guys know I train with the handful of Golden Boy fighters and some other fighters as well. But here's the catch. It is such irony that JoJo Diaz went from the number one contender to purgatory. And what I mean by purgatory is he has nowhere to go. And that's the sad thing about if you sign with Oscar at any weight class. You have nowhere to go. You have to climb up the ladder again. He is 5 fights away from getting another title shot for any belt at 126. Think about it. He ain't getting. I mean, who's the other 126 guy? Gary Russell. Oh, I mean, the guy overseas, but he's gonna do that with Carl Frampton, so that makes it at least a year away. And we got Leo and all these guys over here. So the sad truth about JoJo Diaz, we're never gonna see how good he can become. And this is a sincere, cathartic, pragmatic, unbiased, uh, open letter to JoJo Diaz. You need to get the hell away from Golden Boy and sign with someone else. You need to sign with Top Rank, PBC. Well, you can't sign with PBC, but uh, be advised by Al Heyman. Um, uh, K2 well, I mean, K2 Promotions may be in line with Golden Boy. I haven't figured that out yet, but there's a few other promoters that you could sign with because JoJo, you're not gonna grow, man. You know what you're gonna fight? You're gonna fight another Mexican on Thursday night, ESPN, and make $25,000 or 20. I don't know how much you make. I'm guesstimating. I'm just in comparison to Leo and Abner, they're gonna make over $1 million. You understand what I'm saying? And Gary is $1 million fighter. You understand what I'm saying? So, um, JoJo, I think you are a hell of a talent. I think you and your dad have a great plan, have a great story. I think you need to add, and don't take this as disrespect. Take this as open common, not common sense, but just realist. Like blacks have a different cadence to them, right? The way we dance, the way we talk, I mean, the way we move. Like Zene Sequa is a little bit different, right? We have a cadence to us. You understand what I'm saying? And it's in all aspects of our life as a whole. There are obviously black people that aren't as like fluid and smooth, right? He needs to add a black element to his camp. He has not mastered, but he is at least an 8 in terms of Mexican style, in terms of going to the body. You understand? He needs to add some agility, some east-west movement, some quick feet type stuff. Maybe a co-trainer, uh maybe just a conditioning trainer. I don't know if he has that already, but the reason why I say he needs to be black, because black people move at a different cadence. And all white people who listen to this video, Mexican people listen, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm just speaking real with you guys. I'm not speaking on this is scientifically proven, right? Like Jimmy the Greek got fired for basically saying the truth, but he said it on what is ABC, CBS, somewhere like that, and many other people have spoken about it. But there's a science to this too. I forget, but I've read it in the past. It's been some time since I've read it, but uh, if he adds something like that to his camp and dumps Oscar De La Hoya, the only fighter he can't beat is Gary Russell at 126. I would say the only fighter it won't be a 50-50 fight against is Gary Russell. Everyone else, The guy he fought, Ryan overseas, that beat Lee Selby, he'll have a great shot at him. He'll have a great shot at Leo. He'll have a great shot against Abner. I'm talking about in comparison to Gary Russell. I still think these guys are A-level fighters for one for 126. So at the end of the day, uh, if you, I don't have JoJo Diaz's number, but I would tell him leave Golden Boy, and you already have the Mexican base. I mean, get JoJo, and and uh and why I have an affinity for JoJo to some degree because he sparred at my gym, and I had a great conversation with his dad. And it wasn't too deep or anything like that, but it was a conversation. It wasn't like I was interviewing him and he was saying yes. No, it was an actual conversation, and their tenor is great. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just being I think I'm being pragmatic. You know, you guys may disagree in the comment section, but I mean, if he leaves Golden Boy, he can be a $500,000 fighter. He can be in these $500,000, $750,000 fights. I don't know how long his contract is. I should have asked. And just to interview, honestly, I keep it 100 with you guys. Interviewing JoJo Diaz makes you feel good. Like he has that positive energy. You understand? And I know you guys felt it at the press conference, at the weigh-in when you guys watched it on YouTube, I didn't get a chance to see his post-fight press conference yet or interview yet. But JoJo has great juju, right? Is that the term? He has it's his dad does as well. His dad is pretty soft spoken, pretty calm. And for him to be a truck driver, give that up and train his son full time and learn on YouTube, that's incredible. And turn him into a motherfucking Olympian? Come on, man. And I've read the scouting reports. I mean, excuse me, not read. I've heard all the scouting reports from how JoJo did in the Olympics, the Olympic trials and all that. And he was basically a top 5 fighter at the Olympic trials. And you can definitely see it. He is a better version of Mexican style in terms of getting to the points, but he needs that. He needs that. And if you don't get it, I apologize. But I know a lot of my subscribers is going to get it when they watch the fight. He's this away from having a shot. Like JoJo can't do this. This is a tempo. This is what Gary Russell was fighting at. Change of speeds. And Gary Russell has it. JoJo Diaz doesn't. If JoJo Diaz has what he has, I think Gary Russell still wins, but it's a tougher fight. Gary Russell's mind is just on a whole nother planet. You understand, in terms of how to win fights. But I think he would have a great chance against the other guys, but he's not going to get the opportunity. And that's why it bothers me, because of what I gathered from the Diaz family and his genuine care to win. Like, he went into that 12th round wanting to win, knowing he was down on the scorecards. At the press conference, he got emotional when he saw his fans and he saw his father to his left about how he wants to change the legacy of the Diaz family. You understand what I'm saying? And someone has to win and someone has to lose. But at the end of the day, they all should be handsomely compensated. And I hope JoJo Diaz gets the opportunity to be handsomely compensated. I don't see it. I genuinely don't see it, because his last fight was on a Thursday night or a Wednesday night on ESPN, and those cards don't pay well, and he is worth far more than a Thursday night pay-per-view. And like, realistically, there's no way in hell Ryan Garcia should be a main event fighter before JoJo Diaz should. You understand? And I know it was like a shit card per se, but I think JoJo should have been the main. I know he had a fight going up, but I'm just talking about just generally speaking. JoJo Diaz should have been a main event on a card like that, with Ryan Garcia as the co-main event. You understand what I'm saying? And actually, that actually protects Ryan Garcia a great deal, because when Ryan Garcia is the main event, he has to be the Incredible Hulk. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas JoJo Diaz is going to go in the main event and box a motherfucking guy head off and win the fight. You guys understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that could have been a great protection clause in an upcoming fight. But I can totally see him coming back in September on a Canelo card and making $150,000 or as a co-main event or something like that. Uh, but JoJo, I've covered two of his fights. I've interviewed him maybe a total of 3 times, maybe. And every time I've interviewed him, I've walked away from him like, man, that's a good kid. That's a really good kid. And it's sad that we're not going to see, as long as he's with Golden Boy, not unless Golden Boy has a whole bunch of fighters at 126 that's just going to maybe, I don't know, what Diego De La Hoya is, what, 122, but it's no way in hell they would take that risk and have them guys. I mean, JoJo Diaz is like twice his size. I remember I walked by Diego De La Hoya one time, like, damn, you little. So he looks bigger in the ring, but he's like 5'3", man, like in real life. So, uh, but yeah, man, JoJo Diaz, if you get, tweet this to JoJo Diaz, man. Tweet this to his family. Send it to him in an inbox on Instagram, Facebook, because I like him, and it's that's the collateral damage, because I'll never mention JoJo Diaz's name ever again on this channel. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's just bad, and I should. You understand what I'm saying? I should be mentioning JoJo Diaz's name. He's an LA kid. You guys know I love the father-son connection. And I think he has immense talent. He has the ability to get a belt at 126. And he definitely has the ability to fight at 130. For sure. Outside of Tank Davis, it's just, and oh man, he's stuck between 2 rocks in a hard place, man. 3 rocks in a hard place, man. He has to find a way to get out of that Golden Boy contract. Even if you go independent, you're going to make what you're making against Golden Boy. Honestly, if you're on a PBC bounce card, if you're on a PBC Fox card, you're going to make more there than you would on a Thursday night when the viewership, no one even know the fights are on. If they're not surfing the channels, no one's really going to know. So tweet this to him, man. He needs to hear my voice. Not needs to. I'm not saying, no, that's the wrong word. I'm hoping that he hears my voice. And I'm hoping that he hears what you guys are thinking too. Because I know a lot of you guys are thinking if I like, damn, JoJo can fight his ass off. The motherfucker's a dog with a smile, he's charismatic. He's going to be a great commentator one day. I believe he's bilingual. Man, JoJo, you got a bright future ahead. You got to get away from Golden Boy. The Mexican base will never leave you, man. You're an Olympian with a smile. You have a father. You have a great backstory. I tapped into it in my interview with you because I think that story is exceptional. And I genuinely wish you well. And that's sad, the collateral damage because of Oscar's selfishness, Bernard Hopkins' selfishness, the PR guy's selfishness. That all they had to do was the next day after them emails, write a fucking copy and paste letter. I'm sorry. This should never happen again. This is not indicative of how Golden Boy runs their company. We do not condone those emails, and we will reprimand and we will reprimand internally. The end. And we would have been like, damn, that's cool. And then the energy and the questions would have been like, Oscar, man, I appreciate you taking care of that. What was the punishment? How do you intend on re-engaging your black audience, as opposed to me coming with my energy completely different? It would have been a completely different tenor. You understand? So JoJo, I wish you well. I would love to do some more but this got to be the last time I do something on you on this channel. And it's bad, because you deserve more. You're an Olympian. You are probably the strongest guy at 126, man. You are arguably the strongest guy in the upper echelon at 126, and we may never ever see you again in a big fight. I'm serious. Not unless you become someone's mandatory. But it's so many rematches out there. You got the winner of Carl Frampton going in a trilogy with Abner Mares. I mean, excuse me, with Leo Santa Cruz, and then you got if Abner Mares wins that, oh my God, they tied up for 2 years. You know, between those three rematches, and then Abner Mares going to get the winner of that European Championship for the IBF, and he wins that belt, they win that belt. Then you got the trilogy with Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz, and then you got the rematch between Abner Mares, Carl Frampton, or whoever wins that fight. And then you got the trilogy. If Abner Mares wins with Leo Santa Cruz, why would you go anywhere else? The fans want to see it. So, JoJo, man, get out of Golden Boy. You need to leave Golden Boy ASAP. I think you're a hell of a fighter. Your character is greater. I love having conversing with your father. I think you two are an exceptional team, and I genuinely wish you well. And tweet this to him, guys. Hopefully he remembers my voice. And that's it, man. So anyways, man, Barbershop Conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, and talk to you soon. Peace.